Hare Krishna, dear devotees and friends. Today we will go through fourth chapter of Nectar of Devotion, which is called Devotional Service Surpasses All Liberation. Basically, in this chapter, shortly Srila Prabhupada explains how a pure devotee is not interested from any kind of liberation, and he is giving many examples to illustrate that from different scriptures, especially from Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning of the chapter, Srila Prabhupada explains what is the difficulty in the life of impersonalists, why they are meant to suffer in their spiritual practice. He says, the impersonalists desire to merge into the existence of the Supreme, but without keeping their individuality, they have no chance of hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because they have no idea of the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, there is no chance of their chanting and hearing of His transcendental activities. In other words, unless one is already beyond liberation, one cannot relish the transcendental glories of the Lord, nor can one understand the transcendental form of the Lord. So, after that, Srila Prabhupada starts giving different examples from Shastra, and more or less all of those examples illustrate how devotees of the Lord, pure devotees of the Lord, they are not interested from different kinds of liberations, and especially from the liberation which is known as Sayuja, or merging with the Lord, because in this way they don't have opportunity to render devotional service unto Him. Very often devotees refer to this kind of liberation as spiritual suicide, because does not allow them to be engaged in devotional service. So let's just read a few nice examples that Srila Prabhupada is giving. In 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, verse 67, the Lord of Vaikuntha replies to Durvasa Muni this: my pure devotees are always satisfied being engaged in devotional service, and therefore they do not aspire even after the 5 liberated stages, which are to be one with me, to achieve residence on my planet, to have my opulences, to possess bodily features similar to mine, and to gain personal association with me. So, when they are not interested even in these liberated positions, you can know how little they care for material opulences or material liberation. In other words, if those personalities, those pure devotees, are not interested even from achieving liberation, then what to speak of being interested of insignificant material pleasures of this world, which are coming from enjoying the material senses. After that, Srila Prabhupada speaks about Padma Purana. Similarly, there is a statement in Padma Purana describing the ritualistic function during the month of Kartik, October-November. During this month in Vrindavan, it is the regulative principle to pray daily to Lord Krishna in his Damodara form. The Damodara form refers to Krishna in his childhood, when he was tied up with a rope by his mother Yashoda. Dhamma means rope, and Udara means the abdomen. So Mother Yashoda, being very disturbed by the naughty Krishna, bound him round the abdomen with the rope, and thus Krishna is named Damodar. During the month of Kartik, Damodar is prayed to as follows: my dear Lord, you are the Lord of all, the giver of all benedictions. There are many demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who sometimes offer benedictions to their respective devotees. For example, Ravana was blessed with many benedictions by Lord Shiva, and Hiranyakashipu was blessed by Lord Brahma. But even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma depend upon the benedictions of Lord Krishna, and therefore Krishna is addressed as the Lord of all benefactors. As such, Lord Krishna can offer his devotees anything they want, but still, the devotee's prayer continues. I do not ask you for liberation or any material facility up to the point of liberation. What I want as your favor is that I may always think of your form in which I see you now, as Damodar. You are so beautiful and attractive that my mind does not want anything besides this wonderful form. So, this is another example that Srila Prabhupada gives, how the devotee never prays for liberation, just to be freed from the material sufferings. No, he just wants to absorb his mind in the form of Krishna, extremely beautiful form of Krishna, and in his devotional service. There is also a nice prayer. It's part of the pastime with Nrsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj. In the same Harya Shirsha Pancharatra, after Nrsimhadev wanted to give benedictions to Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad did not accept any material benediction and simply asked the favor of the Lord to remain his eternal devotee. In this connection, Prahlad Maharaj cites the example of Hanuman, the eternal servitor of Lord Ramachandra, who also set an example by never asking any material favor from the Lord. He always remained engaged in the Lord's service. That is the ideal character of Hanuman, for which he is still worshipped by all devotees. Prahlad Maharaj also offered his respectful obeisances unto Hanuman. There is a well-known verse spoken by Hanuman in which he says, "My dear Lord, if you like, you can give me salvation from the material existence, or the privilege of merging into your existence. But I do not wish any of these things. I do not want anything which diminishes my relationship with you as a servant to master, even after liberation." In a similar passage in Narada Pancharatra, it is stated, "My dear Lord, I do not wish any perfectional stage by performing the ritualistic religious ceremonies, or by economic development, or by sense gratification or liberation. I simply pray that you grant me the favor of keeping me under your lotus feet. I do not wish any kind of liberation such as Salokya, to reside on your planet, or Sarupya, to have the same bodily features as you. I simply pray for your favor that I may be always engaged in your loving service." So Srila Prabhupada at the end concludes the chapter explaining how normally devotees will not accept those liberations, but still 4 of them sometimes in certain conditions can be accepted by the devotees if they are favorable for their service to the Lord. But they will never accept Sayuja or merging with the Lord, because as we said, this takes their opportunity to render personal devotional service to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada. From the above statements, it is found that a devotee is not after any of the stages of liberation. There are 5 stages of liberation, already explained as being to become one with the Lord, to live on the same planet as the Lord, to obtain the same bodily features as the Lord, to have the same opulences as the Lord, and to have constant association with the Lord. Out of these 5 liberated stages, the one which is known as Sayuja, or to merge into the existence of the Lord, is the last to be accepted by a devotee. The other 4 liberations, although not desired by devotees, still are not against the devotional ideas. Some of the liberated persons who have achieved these 4 stages of liberation may also develop affection for Krishna and be promoted to Goloka Vrindavan planet in the spiritual sky. In other words, those who are already promoted to Vaikuntha planets and who possess the four kinds of liberation may also sometimes develop affection for Krishna and become promoted to Krishna Loka. So those who are in the four liberated stages may still be going through different stages of existence. In the beginning they may want the opulences of Krishna, but at the mature stage the dormant love for Krishna exhibited in Vrindavan becomes prominent in their hearts. As such, the pure devotees never accept the liberation of Sayuja to become one with the Supreme, though sometimes they may accept as favorable the other four liberated stages. Out of many kinds of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the one who is attracted to the original form of the Lord Krishna in Vrindavan is considered to be the foremost, first-class devotee. Such a devotee is never attracted by the opulences of Vaikuntha or even Dvaraka, the royal city where Krishna ruled. The conclusion of Srila Rupa Goswami is that the devotees who are attracted by the pastimes of the Lord in Goloka or Vrindavana are the topmost devotees. In other words, sometimes a devotee may be more attracted from the opulences in the spiritual world on the Vaikuntha planets and also attracted from the forms of the Lord there, like Narayana and the different avatars of Krishna. But once achieving this position, he can continue developing his attraction to the supreme form of Krishna, to the supreme form of God as Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, and gradually he can elevate himself and achieve this highest destination. So this also a way how devotee may gradually advance from one level to other. But again, as a conclusion, the mood of our Sampradaya is that we never ask for something in return to our devotional service. We simply pray to be able to engage in devotional service of Krishna without any reward from Krishna in return. Hare Krishna.